Welcome back into the Casual Sports Podcast. Once again, we're going back to the NFL. But before we get there, I'm Alek.
And I'm Matt Morrison.
Follow us on Twitter, Casual Sports Rep, Instagram, Casual Sports Report, YouTube, Casual Sports Report, and on Spotify. All these videos are uploaded the minute they are recorded onto Spotify. So if you want them before anybody else, go to Spotify, and soon on the iTunes as well. It's on Google Podcasts, Spotify. Type in Casual Sports Report, just like that. You'll find our stuff. Let's get into the NFL. Today, we're talking NFC West. Obviously, as you can see by his jersey, that's why we're starting off with the Seahawks.
Yep. Seattle Seahawks. Well, you got Russell Wilson coming back. This guy has been, he's been in MVP talks pretty much every year. He got a Super Bowl. He should have 2 Super Bowls, but
run the ball. He should have run the ball.
You got Marshawn Lynch back there.
Run the ball.
I'm going to go into that.
Now we're just triggering all the Seahawks fans.
Yeah, that was like 6 years ago.
And all the Patriots haters.
Oh,
I don't know if it was 6, was it?
2014.
Oh, God.
I was 14.
Oh, man. All right, so Seahawks coming up. 2020 season. Obviously, we're going to be talking about this as though the season is going to happen. As far as we know, right now, the season is going to happen. Everything right now has said the season's happening. That's how we're talking about it. If something changes in the next few weeks, this video will still be going up.
Yep.
This is a prediction for whenever they decide to play.
Yeah.
All right? So, Seahawks, the NFC West, obviously probably one of the strongest divisions right now in football. Yeah. Most competitive, most... besides the AFC North, which we already talked about, I think this is one of the most interesting ones to talk about.
Yes, you got your, besides the Seahawks, you have the San Francisco 49ers.
Just in the Super Bowl.
Yep, and you have the Rams who were in the Super Bowl, not this year, but the year before that. And then you got the Cardinals who have been in the crapper a couple of years, but they're looking to come out of it. They got some good players.
Maybe they have the face of the franchise at quarterback, and Kyler Murray. We're going to be talking about that coming up. So let's start with the Seahawks.
Yep,
like we said,
that pack rookies. You got that Jordan Brooks coming in, that linebacker.
They got a very strong group coming in. I got the full.
You also have Darrell Taylor coming in playing.
That was a good pickup they got from edge rusher from Tennessee. Yeah. Overall, though, I didn't really like any of their draft picks too much. They got a good pickup late round, 5th round, Allen Robinson from Syracuse, defensive end, and then tight end Stephen Sullivan from LSU in the 7th round. And that was obviously a good pickup for them.
And let's talk about the players returning. You got DK Metcalf,
Bobby Wagner, currently ranked number 1 linebacker in the NFL.
Yep.
But like they're on heads right now. I guess here we go. 29th ranked draft class in the NFL.
Yeah.
Not very strong, but they don't really need it.
No.
They had guys last season. They were 11-5. Right now, CBS I believe has them ranked. Predicted record at 11-5 as well. The over/under for the season 9.5. I'm telling you right now, take the over. No way they're hitting under 9 wins.
No,
not with the team that they have.
That'll be great.
However, if you want to go more in stats, if you're kind of still on the edge, they do have the 13th hardest strength of schedule in the NFL, so it's not going to be an easy road.
No,
they definitely have the talent. They got the skill. They have the experience to make it through that hard schedule and make it there. However, once again, stats are kind of not in their favor from last season going into this season. Maybe we'll see that get kind of flipped around going. Hopefully we see that flipped around going to the next season. But, they still finished last season 11-5 with the 26th ranked defense because they had the 8th ranked offense. Now going into this season, they've upped that. They've made it up to the 20th ranked defense going into 2020 despite losing Jadeveon Clowney.
Yes. And they also lost on the offensive side Josh Gordon.
But they added Philip Dorsett.
They did add Philip
Who's
Dorsett.
going to be competing with David Moore for the number 3 wide receiver position. I mean, if we're talking about this wide receiver room, all guys have clocked in under a 4.43 and a 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
And Lockett and Metcalf both had 4.33s.
Tyler Lockett. Yeah.
Those guys are blazing speed, and we know Russell Wilson loves to throw that deep ball.
Oh, he does, and he likes to scramble too. He can run when he has to.
And that's the thing when you're going with a guy like Metcalf who just came out of college and the way they're running spread offenses now. Spread offense now, it's not. We have routes, but it's more run the route, and if you see a wide open zone, you're going to that area. So we're seeing college recruits are a lot better at adapting to the play as it's happening.
Yes.
They're always watching the quarterback because they know if that quarterback's moving, you're moving with him. You're finding the open zone, so he can just give you a straight line shot, not going through anybody.
They're more aware of what's going on.
Back in the day, we had a lot of wide receivers that could still do that, but they were still running routes, and they were excellent route runners, and that's how they always got open.
Jerry Rice is
a prime example of that.
Drew Pearson with the Cowboys,
Right, and then you had guys like Randy Moss that were just more athletic than you. And now we're getting all of that combined into one, and then adding the awareness from the new spread offenses that they're running in college. We're getting kind of super athletes at the wide receiver position, and it's making it so the guys that have been in the NFL for 6, 7, 8 years are almost starting to get pushed out of the systems by the new guys. We keep getting younger talent, keep getting pushed in, and they're just as good, if not better, than the guys that are already there. Obviously, exceptions to the rules, like Julio Jones, Jarvis Landry, Odell, all the guys that are older, established stars.
Yes.
They're going to stay where they are for now. But a lot of the tier 2 guys, number 2 or 3 wide receivers, they're getting kind of swept under the rug, and the new guys are coming in, taking their spots. They have a loaded running back room too, but they lost Marshawn Lynch, who picked up a great third down back, just picked up Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, they picked up Carlos Hyde.
They got Rashard Penny.
Rashard Penny.
He's returning from a torn ACL. He's not expected to be back until at least week 6, most likely, as long as nothing else happens. Starter Chris Carson has had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Carlos Hyde also just came off of a 1,000-yard season that just didn't get talked about.
With Houston, right?
Yeah, down with Houston. Poor Deshaun Watson.
I know.
Who lost his wide receiver in Hopkins, lost his running back in Hopkins.
We'll talk about Hopkins too because he joined the Cardinals.
Now the Cardinals. Now it's part of our discussion today. But poor guy. He was being so promising, and then the team just hey, we think we got a future with you, so we're gonna get rid of everybody that can help you.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde set 5,000 yards and 35 touchdowns in the past 6 seasons. Well, he's gotten shopped around and playing on the 49ers, the Browns, the Jaguars, and the Texans. Tell me how many other running backs are on 4 different teams and still amount 5,000 yards and 35 touchdowns.
There's not many.
There's not many.
I can't think of any. No, I can't think of any.
You could even move around guys like Saquon or Zeke Elliott. By the time they get into the flow of an offense, maybe they hit 900, 999, like we saw Chubb hit the 999 mark, just 1 yard short of it a couple of years ago, or last year.
15 yards or something like that.
Right. But a lot of those guys, you can move on to a different team. Maybe they don't hit that 1,000-yard rushing, even if they're good. Zeke Elliott and Saquon are 2 of the best running backs, if not the 2 best running backs. I mean, we saw it with Le'Veon Bell going from the Steelers to the Jets.
And he sucked because the Jets don't have an offensive line.
Exactly. So the fact that Carlos Hyde's been chopped to teams. 49ers obviously have a pretty good O-line. The Browns did not when he was there.
No.
The Jaguars don't. The Texans are above average, but to go from teams not like the Cowboys
and the Steelers
and still get 5,000 yards in 6 seasons, that's pretty damn good. But the offensive line is one of the biggest question marks of the entire offseason. They had the potential to have 4 different starting linemen than they did last season. They just brought in B.J. Finney from the Steelers to start at center.
Yep.
But the whole issue
Finney was a backup, so...
Yeah, he's a backup, but obviously had potential there.
Absolutely.
But we have a huge issue when we're talking about offensive lines in this offseason. Due to COVID-19, training camps haven't been happening. These teams have not been getting in snaps together.
Except for Tom Brady.
Except for Tom Brady.
Follow
So is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has been.
Yeah.
He has been taking out his wide receivers and they've been getting in reps.
Yeah.
No one's reporting on that because it's happening in Seattle and nobody cares.
But they're going to report on it in Florida. because that's where the spikes is right now.
Back to sports here.
Back
in a little bit.
Yeah, real bad.
So like this not getting enough snaps is especially huge for offensive linemen that take probably around 200, 300 snaps together to really start getting into sync. And communication on the offensive line is more important than probably any other position besides quarterback. Those 5 guys up there, especially the center, is responsible for making those calls for protections. Like obviously he's got the quarterback behind him, but he's gonna bump the guys to his left and right and say, "We got a blitz coming here," identifying who the mic is.
Yeah.
You know, they have a lot of responsibilities on that line, double teaming, making sure they don't leave a gap. If one of those happens, your quarterback getting paid millions is hit, potential injury strikes, ruining your entire season.
Yes.
So
you don't want that to happen.
No. Biggest questions though for 2020. I think one of the biggest ones, will DK Metcalf blossom into the star he was expected to be, or will he wilt under the pressure of NFL stardom?
I think he'll blossom into the stardom. I think he'll be their top receiver. I think he'll be Russell's go-to guy.
I think he's overrated.
You think he's overrated?
I do. He got so much hype because he was jacked at the combine, so he got spiked up on the draft boards. He had a pretty good season last year. 58 completions, 900 yards, 7 touchdowns. Biggest downside is route running.
Yeah.
He needs to expand the route tree. Only probably runs, 5, 6 routes.
Rookie, so.
Yeah, only a rookie, so you don't really expect much. Gonna see hit the sophomore slump at a wide receiver. Now teams can game plan for him. They got film on him. They know his biggest weapons is his size. That's his biggest one, and we know that he's got muscle.
Oh yeah,
Guy is jacked.
Oh God. Yeah.
That's probably
an understatement.
It's an understatement. I think we need a word bigger than jacked. I just don't know what it is.
Me either. We'll think of one.
Swole.
Swole. That's, I don't know. Sledgehammer. I don't know.
The human sledgehammer.
The human sledgehammer.
I feel like it's more on defense.
Maybe. I don't know. He's built like a.
All right. Next biggest question. Will they have an effective pass rush?
Yes.
They only generated 28 sacks while having 45 against them last season in total, which is among the lowest in the league last year. They lost Jadeveon Clowney, who underperformed, and have added no big names in the offseason so far.
But the rookie is Jordan Brooks. He's been used as a spy when playing, so that could help out their defense.
Yeah.
And like you said, the guy from Tennessee, Darrell Taylor.
There's a guy they need to sign who could be a huge pickup that has kind of flown under the radar so far in this offseason. Everson Griffin. He is a phenomenal defensive lineman that could really fit in and completely replace Jadeveon Clowney. He almost fits the role perfectly. Maybe move more to keep playing more on the inside. Said Clowney kind of played edge rusher, linebacker. Sometimes he flip back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly keep him on the line though, especially when you bring Griffin, not as fast. Keep him on the line. Could work out great for him.
You want to move on?
Yeah, that's all I got for this.
That's all I had for the Seahawks.
They have a lot of promising seasons. End of the show. We are giving you our predictions for all of the teams' records this season. So stay tuned for that. If you get bored, skip to the end.
Yeah.
Or you got nothing else going on. Just watch the whole thing. Listen to the whole thing.
I forgot about KJ Wright. KJ Wright is returning the linebacker. So let's throw that in.
Yeah. Oops. My bad. So let's move on to Cardinals.
That's what
I'm thinking. So last season, obviously 5-10-1, underperformed.
No. Yeah.
Over under for the season 6.5. Surprisingly, I'm taking the over.
You take the over?
I'm not a huge fan of this team, but they have some matchups during the season with other teams that I think they can take easily and manage to scrap together more than 6.5 wins. They have the 8th hardest record strength of schedule in the NFL right now, but I looked at the schedule and I'm just seeing some games that I think they can steal. They face a lot of hard teams, so they're going to have a lot of losses.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But they're facing a lot of the lower teams too.
Yeah.
A lot of those teams on the bottom side that I think they can pick up wins against easily, especially since they now added DeAndre Hopkins.
And you still have Larry Fitzgerald, this guy.
And Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
He's a budding star as well.
Yeah. And you have your rising star Kyler Murray too.
Which, give or take on his
Who's
future.
the running back?
It should be Kenny Drake,
Yeah,
former
Kenny
running
Drake
back of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, this guy's produced heavy for Miami, but it doesn't really show because it's Miami.
Entering this new season, they're currently sitting in 12th place in the power rankings, which I think is a little high for them. Their predicted record from CBS was 9-7, which I think might be a little on the high side for this, especially when we're saying they have the 8th hardest strength of schedule. And a couple other things: 32nd ranked defense in 2019. 21st ranked offense in 2019. You telling me that's the 12th best team in the NFL? I'm not believing it. I know they're bringing in a lot of guys, that helps, but so did the Browns. The Browns brought in a ton of guys last season, before the last season, and then they laid an egg. I mean, it's really going to depend. Does Kyler Murray have a slump? We'll talk about that in a second here. But they still have Patrick Peterson on defense, 5th ranked defensive back in the NFL, and coming into the season, have moved all the way up to the 22nd ranked defense.
And they also just drafted Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons was probably the steal of the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, they picked him up a lot later than he was expected to go. I have it here. They picked him at the 8th spot. I had him going to 5th to the Giants. The fact that he even fell down to 8th is impressive, because he's a great player. Then back down into the 3rd round, they picked up offensive tackle Josh Jones from Houston, another great pickup. He was expected to go potential 1st round, early 2nd. Then they picked up in the 6th round Evan Weaver from California. Then they picked up another running back from Arizona State in Eno Benjamin in the 7th round. So they got picks coming out the wazoo. They got the 4th ranked draft class in the NFL. They have a lot of promise.
They do.
But I got some big questions.
Me too. I got one big question.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you start. I got quite a few.
So how would DeAndre Hopkins develop in this offense? You're gonna go. I mean, Bill O'Brien's offense was long passes,
right?
And but with Cliff Kingsbury, his offense is more short passes, and that's his skill set. He can turn that 15-yard pass into 40, 50 yards.
We might see him become more of a Michael Thomas-esque wide receiver. We've seen him be more of, I don't want to say Odell-esque, but more deep balls, impressive catches, over the top type things.
He will complement Kyler Murray. He'll make Kyler Murray look good.
As long as we get into my big questions here, is Kyler Murray the guy?
Well, it definitely wasn't Josh Rosen. So
it definitely wasn't Josh Rosen, although he didn't really get much of a chance there, did he?
No. Where's he? Miami now? Did he move again?
I think he's in. Last I heard, he was in Miami. I think he got shopped around again. Poor guy.
Poor guy.
I think he got to play half the season in Arizona, and they were like, "Let's get Kyler Murray." I'm like, "You guys use like."
I remember when he got drafted, he was like, what, 9th overall?
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, they made 8 mistakes." Like, oh yeah, I don't think they did.
Sounds like they made the mistake. I mean, he's no Johnny Manziel, but still a pretty big mess up. Kyler Murray, 3,722 yards, 15th in the NFL last year, 20 touchdowns, which was 21st, and 12 interceptions, which was 20th, so that's pretty good for him.
He chose the baseball route, but he chose football.
And at the moment, it's looking like he chose the right route.
Yeah.
55.7 QBR, which is 15th. 544 rushing yards with 4 touchdowns, and sacked a league high 48 times.
Oh, jeez.
They got destroyed. That offensive line was abysmal.
Abysmal.
Abysmal is the right word for that.
That is a great word for that. Yeah.
He got destroyed back there, and that's surprising to see because at Oklahoma, his Heisman season had 1,000 rushing yards. We were expecting a lot more movement out of the pocket this year, and I think a lot of that resulted in sacks. He's not Lamar Jackson.
And their offensive line, you said they just drafted that Josh Jones, right?
They just picked up the offensive tackle.
And they also added Marcus Gilbert.
Yeah.
The longtime Pittsburgh Steeler. So that'll be they're both right tackles. So that'll be a position battle there. So
it's interesting to see if we compare him to division opponent, and probably his biggest comparison from when he's coming through the league so far, Russell Wilson. Yeah. By far, Kyler Murray had a way better rookie season than Russell.
Well, Russell led the team to the playoffs. But
Russell Wilson made it to the playoffs statistically, I'm saying. Kyler Murray put up much better stats. I mean, Russell Wilson going to those playoffs.
Russell
had
Wilson
a
won a Super Bowl his second season.
Right. I mean, but look at that team. It's nowhere near. I mean, that team's miles above
the
Arizona Cardinals. The Legion of Boom, man. Can you believe that was only, about a little bit ago, and now your defense is
Wilson,
nothing.
and I'll talk about Richard Sherman because, well, he joined the.
He's on the Niners.
Yep. He still can get things done.
Now, I like Kyler Murray. He's a good quarterback. Obviously, has had a fairly impressive first season.
Got Heisman, right? Got Heisman in Oklahoma.
Got the Heisman at Oklahoma. It's obviously the dual threat quarterback that we're seeing more of in the NFL, probably led on by Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, who I know you're not a fan of, but you got to admit it's a breed coming into the NFL.
I know.
It's the end of guys like Big Ben and Tom Brady. You know, we're seeing dual threats.
Drew Brees and Philip Rivers.
I mean, early on, Drew Brees can move around. Not so much anymore. He's just getting up there in age. He'll probably break a hip if he gets hit. While he's running like he used to. Will Kyler Murray be able to avoid the injuries? I pose the same question for Lamar because they have a similar style.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to take the hits. They want to try and make the fancy moves to create space, and they want to juke some guys out. Hit a spin move.
Yeah.
Do we see one of these guys' knees blow out, ankle blow out? Maybe if they don't even get a hit, if they just blow something out.
It's the same deal here as with Lamar. Lamar going up against T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett, and I mean same thing with Kyler. You're gonna go up against Bobby Wagner.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of these situations.
Who's the guy for the Niners? Is that big?
Bosa?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll talk about the defensive line for them coming up.
Yeah.
They just added.
Try and juke out Nick Bosa. Yeah, all right, give up.
But I think it's interesting. He's now in a very similar situation that fellow Oklahoma Sooner and Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield found himself in the past season, adding a big name wide receiver. All the hype in the world's being placed on him. Elite members on defense. He has Chandler Jones.
Yep.
Baker had Myles Garrett. We're seeing a lot of comparisons between these two teams, the situations they're in.
Yep.
A long time, not as long obviously as the Browns for winning wise, but they're right there. On the bright side, he won't have to learn a new offense and still has the same head coach, which could be part of the reason why the Browns were so bad last year.
The Cardinals, last known season of success was when they went to the Super Bowl, which they lost to the Steelers. But
it's interesting to see.
They had the young Fitzgerald back then, and Larry still getting it done. I know he's an old man, but he's still productive.
Still one of the top
wide receivers. He's a leader too.
Right, he's a leader. That's important, especially when you have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Obviously, the team's looking to the quarterback, but the quarterback's looking to someone else. Yes. That's true for a lot of guys, even on the older, but especially when you're younger. The team looks up at the quarterback, but you always got that guy on the sideline. Maybe it's the backup that's been there for a while, or it's a long-time player, veteran in the league. He's coming over after that quarterback throws a pick, whatever. I'm like, keep your head up. We got this. Next drive, let's go.
Yeah.
Fresh start. Keep it going. That's obviously what you're looking at with a guy like him. They signed Devon Kennard and Devondre Campbell. Good pickups. Should be a much better season this year if they stay healthy.
Yeah.
If they avoid injuries, which they didn't do last year.
5-10-1.
Yeah, they were 5-10-1 last year. If they avoid the injuries, they can be miles ahead of that.
They could.
I don't know if all the way to 9-7, but there's possibilities.
There's possibilities.
The trade for DeAndre Hopkins sent the old David Johnson and a second and a fourth round pick for DeAndre Hopkins and a fourth rounder.
Yeah.
What a steal.
Yeah, what a horrible trade.
That's highway robbery.
Yeah. Bill Bryan.
I mean, Hopkins is the third ranked wide receiver of the past season and is joining the wide receiver room with Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk.
Bill O'Brien's like, oh yeah, let's trade him away.
I mean, they won that one by far.
By far.
I don't know what the Texans are doing. We might just have to do a whole show on the Texans.
I never really liked, it'd go off. I never really liked Bill O'Brien from the start. He used Penn State as a stepping stone to get back into the NFL. Okay. And it's not working out very well. Is it Bill? Is it Bill?
I mean, they made him general manager down there too. He's head coach and GM.
Yeah.
And then trades away his best guys.
Two. All right. The owner needs to bring him in.
Wait for him to get rid of Deshaun Watson too.
Then the owner needs to bring him in and say 2 words. You want to guess what they are? you're fired.
Watch him bring in Mitch Trubisky after he loses his starting job in Chicago. That would be hilarious.
He tried to make Brock Osweiler work, and that didn't really work, did it?
There was that whole slew of guys that went from like Denver, Chicago, Houston. Yeah. It was like the same three guys just kept going in a circle. The first smart move he made was getting Deshaun Watson.
Right. But you're giving all the weapons that
How could you mess them so bad? They had so much potential.
They did.
I mean, besides,
they beat the Bills
didn't get injured his rookie season.
Yeah.
Talking about playoffs.
Oh yeah.
A deep playoff run.
Yeah.
Obviously, last season I think they had
Deshaun Watson is another one of those mobile quarterbacks.
Right, and I have a little more confidence in him because he's
built. He can run people over.
And he's kind of similar to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and he's also similar.
He's got the deep ball threat.
He's also similar to that old Titans quarterback back in the day. What was his name? Steve McNair. Steve McNair was built. This guy they called him farm type. He could run people, he could throw the ball. You know, Deshaun Watson's the same way.
You got anything else with the Cardinals?
Nope. No.
All right, let's move it on. Los Angeles Rams getting the brand new multi-million-dollar stadium.
This team has fallen off. They were a Super Bowl team.
I mean, 2019 they were still 9-7.
Yeah, but man, they just drafted Cam Akers though. That guy from Florida State.
Over under for the season is 9. I'm taking the under. This team will suck this year.
Yeah,
with capital S.
They will suck.
Tied for the 10th hardest strength of schedule. Currently sitting 19th place in the power rankings. Luckily, they do have Jalen Ramsey, 4th ranked defensive back in the NFL. Yep. They have the 13th ranked defense in the NFL last season and the 7th ranked offense last season. But they have a young, unexperienced offensive line with virtually no depth. If someone goes down, they're screwed on the offensive line.
They don't have Todd Gurley anymore.
No Todd Gurley. They have the 15th ranked defense going into 2020. Have one solid linebacker on the entire team, and they're running a 3-4 defense. Yeah. 3 linemen and 4 linebackers.
Aaron Donald, right?
Aaron Donald's on the line. He's their one good lineman. Yeah. And then they have the one linebacker. Running a defense with 4 linebackers and only one of them is starting caliber. That's a recipe for disaster. Yeah. It's just questionable. Then they brought in the 23rd ranked draft class. Guys that included, let me pull it up here. Cam Akers. They picked up a lot of guys. They had a lot of draft picks. Cam Akers in the 2nd. Van Jefferson from Florida in the 2nd. And they picked up edge rusher Terrell Lewis from Bama. Another good pickup. Yeah. Terrell Burgess, safety from Utah, was really good there. And after that kind of falls off, they had Jordan Fuller from Ohio State in the 6th. But other than that, they didn't really pick up much guys afterwards. Stronger draft class, but I don't see them going anywhere this year.
No, I don't.
It was the 23rd ranked draft class. I think it should be a little bit higher than that, especially their top, maybe I should say. Like you said, they don't have Todd Gurley anymore. Who runs this offense? Jared Goff was terribly inconsistent last year. He had a good game, and he sucked the next week. You could not predict how this team was going to go, and it seemed like last year the team went as he went. And down was the direction. They're left without a starting caliber running back. Does that mean Cam Akers at Florida State? Most likely, he's probably going to share a role with Malcolm Brown.
And this guy was picked before the guy from Ohio State.
He was picked for Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
And J.K. Dobbins.
Why would you pick Cam Akers? J.K. Dobbins is a beast.
Exactly.
And Jordan Taylor, same story.
Jonathan
Taylor,
picked
Cam Akers from Florida State, who had another abysmal season.
They must have seen something.
And that something was probably not a lot.
I want to know what they were, it's legal out there in L.A., so they must have had a ton of it.
Oh, yeah.
Eating some good old brownies. But he's most likely going to be sharing the starting role with Malcolm Brown, who took over for Gurley last year when he was injured. 69 rushing attempts for 255 yards and 5 touchdowns. I don't like him. I don't like the team this year.
I don't even like the new logo. I think it sucks.
New logo, new colors.
Yeah, I think
new stadium.
New stadium. Yeah.
Man, LA is going to be terrible for attendance this year, aren't they? Yeah. Chargers are going to have all 12 of their fans, and LA is going to have all 1,000 of theirs for the Rams there. Yeah. Man, they might have to just join together and support. It's going to be a rough year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rough year for LA.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe not so much for baseball. We're talking about that on the video that comes out July 4th.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Dodgers.
We'll
Stay tuned. Stay
Got anything else for the Rams?
No, they're going to be bad.
They're going to be bad. That's just it. Now, we're talking on the team that finished second in, not the NFL, well, yeah, second in the NFL.
Yeah.
Lost the Super Bowl.
To Mahomes and the Chiefs.
The Mahomes and the Chiefs. The Mahomes. Let's just call them the Mahomes from now on.
My Mahomie, you know.
No, it's the Kansas City Mahomes. I like that. How about that? Well, there's we're talking about changing the name. Let's talk the Kansas City Mahomes.
The Kansas City Mahomes.
We're just Kansas City barbecue.
The Red Hot Mahomes.
Can we call them the barbecues?
No.
They got good barbecue in Kansas City. Why not?
Yeah, they do. Dude, let's go off for a second. Do you remember that pizza guy in Kansas City had like go Patrick
what a legend.
Mahomes?
Yeah, what a legend.
Dude, the guy gave me such a bad look.
he did give you a dirty look.
Oh man, like Coach Chiefs, I like Mahomes. He's my homie. He's like, oh.
I'm surprised you didn't get that Michael Jordan food poisoning, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right, 49ers. Predicted record via CBS was 11-5. 2019 went 13-3, and the over/under on the season is 10.5. I'm taking the over on these guys. Take the over. We're definitely getting more than 10.5 wins. Timeout though. They got the fourth hardest strength of schedule in the entire NFL.
They do.
So question marks there. How will they be able to go through that? They currently sit in 4th place in the power rankings entering the season. Fred Warner's the 9th ranked linebacker in the NFL. That's good.
Yeah, Richard Sherman coming back.
Richard Sherman on defense.
It's Richard Sherman.
The team's got potential. They've
on
been
offense.
there.
Oh, what's the defense? Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa.
They lost the Forrest Buckner though.
Yes. All right. So let me talk defense here for a minute. Big question for them. Probably one of the only ones.
Will Nick Bosa repeat?
Can Nick Bosa continue to dominate?
Yes.
So, current franchise record holder for sacks in a career, Bryant Young, who had 89.5 sacks in the 14 seasons he played with the 49ers, spoke about this. He believes that Nick Bosa can beat his record, and he's willing to help him accomplish it. Nick had 9 sacks in just the first year. If he was to average 9 sacks per season for the rest of his career, he'll pass the record in 2029 if he's still with the team. So we're talking in 9 years.
Yeah.
He could become the all-time leading sack holder for the 49ers.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah, that's how you can
And
say
they
it.
just picked up on defensively Javon Kinlaw, who joins a loaded defensive line of Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, D. Ford, Solomon Thomas, who ranked 2nd against the pass and 13th against the rush last year.
Yeah.
That's one hell of a defensive line.
Yeah.
Whew.
Offense.
Number 2 ranked defense
Number 2.
in 2019.
Yeah.
And they moved into 1st place for 2020, predicted.
Who's number 1 ranked defense?
For last season,
Pittsburgh was like 5th, wasn't it?
they were up there. I'm not 100% sure who was in 1st, though. Because I think they were just kind of... They may have been 1st, but all the notice was going on to the 49ers.
Yeah. Because they
had the number 4th ranked offense in 2019, too.
Yeah.
This team has all the right players at all the right
Let's
positions.
talk about that offense. You got Jimmy G returning. This guy, oh my god, I think they would have been better if he just hasn't been hurt. Like I remember when they brought him in, they won the last 5 games of that year when they went 5-10 or something. Then he came back strong the next year. He got hurt, and they had Then this was his first full season, but they went to the Super Bowl. This guy is not done.
However, on offense, they let Emmanuel Sanders walk.
Yeah.
He left in the offseason. And now the wide receiver room is going to be run by Debo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk.
I like it though.
Me too.
They got a lot of potential there. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it was a good move letting him walk.
Yeah.
Samuels was eating up cap space.
Yeah.
Aging.
Yeah.
He's obviously got a lot of. He's got a lot.
Sanders go to
Denver.
Denver.
I think it was Denver is where he ended up. Yeah. He's obviously got quite a bit left in the tank, but I think it was a smart move. They like Brandon Ayuk better.
The Saints because he was in Denver.
He may have not moved again then.
Maybe he was in Denver, then he went to the Niners. And it might have been the Saints. I don't know.
Maybe he can move back to the Saints now. Now you're making me question things.
I'm gonna check up on this dude. Don't worry.
Man. But you look that up. Defensive backs led by an aging Richard Sherman and superstar Kawan Williams. The room lacks a lot of depth.
He's with the Saints.
Okay, well, I was wrong. He is on the Saints. Sorry.
Better be sorry. You screwed this up. No, I'm joking.
I'm out. I'm leaving. Whole show.
You screwed the show.
Tearing down the company. No, defensive back room lacks a lot of depth, and they're really top heavy. If Richard Sherman and Williams get injured this season,
Richard Sherman,
that secondary is destroyed.
We're talking about the former leader of the Legion of Boom with Seattle.
That was incredible, that defense.
Oh man, that was awesome. Yeah, Sherman. Who's the other? Cam Chancellor. There's so many guys.
The thing is, I used to not be in the NFL as much, mainly because the Browns were tragic, and it just pained me to watch every year. So there was a brief portion I no longer watched them, probably a good 8 years, and that's when we saw the Legion of Boom ride the power. However, me and my family, we did always watch the Super Bowl. You have to. Everybody watches it, and there's nothing else going on in the winter. Yeah. So from the outside looking in, like, you go watch those games, you're like, oh my God, this defense is incredible. What? All I ever watch is college. So then you go from seeing college guys, average defenses, you go see the NFL, and it's just dominating. Woo-hoo.
Well, see, I remember when the Niners came here to Youngstown. Mm-hmm. I mean, I literally walked over to campus, seeing if I would run into somebody. I'm like, I give up. I'm gonna go home. So I'm driving home, and right out here on Fifth Avenue.
Right.
And there's 2 cop cars parked in the middle of the road. There was 2 cars in front of me talking. The cop was at their window. I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm sitting here 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna start looking around because I'm bored. Look over at the standby, and I heard whistles blowing. What's going on? Look over on the left side. There's Richard Sherman. There's Jimmy Garoppolo practicing on the field.
I'm ashamed to say it, but I missed them being here. I didn't see them.
Finally, I sat and watched it for 10 minutes. Finally, the cop was like, "Hey, come on, let's go." I'm like, "Oh no, I want to go."
Oh, car trouble. They'd believe it with your car.
They would believe it. Let's not go into car problems, okay?
Oh, you want to keep going on sports?
Yeah.
No,
I came home like, Dad, I saw Jimmy Garoppolo.
I know. I was so upset. 49ers were here. I walked over to the stadium, but I walked over too late, so they had already left.
There was cops surrounded everywhere. They weren't letting people in. You wouldn't be able to see. It was a private
they were practicing over on one of the soccer fields for a portion of it. So I tried walking over there, but they'd already gone by the time I was over there. Oh man, I'm so upset. Yeah. Back to the season though.
They should have had a chance for YSU students to meet them. They went to high schools, man. You're practicing on
We went to the high school. I mean, good for those kids. We want to see them.
They went to Ursuline.
It's literally right there.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Will Jimmy G improve or slump? The former backup for Tom Brady turned superstar, put in a great season and helped lead his team to a Super Bowl, but not losing his number 1 wide receiver and his running back Raheem Mostert, who put in a phenomenal playoff effort, is untested and struggled through most of last season. Jimmy G will have to get better for this team to return to where they were last season offensively.
I don't think he'll slump. I think he'll get better.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I think
he's going to be about the same.
About the same?
So I think the team might struggle a little bit, but I think
losing these players, like you said, his top receiver, I think this will motivate him to get better. You just got to transition. Look at Tom Brady. He lost all his good receivers.
Right. It's really going to be a test. How good is he?
Exactly.
Is he as good as his predecessor in New England? We'll find out. It's too early to say, but we'll find out.
We will find out.
You got anything else to add for the 49ers?
I like their coach. I like their young coach.
They got a lot of room to grow.
Yep.
That's for sure.
That's for sure.
All right, let's get into final predictions for the year. Final prediction. First off,
division.
We'll go down the list.
Go down the list? Okay.
Seattle Seahawks, give me your prediction. What, how many wins, how many losses? Give me their record.
What was the toughest schedule you said they had?
Their strength of schedule is 13th.
13th?
13th hardest.
Okay. I think they'll tough out some wins. I say 12-4 for Seattle.
Woo!
I think they'll tough out some wins. I think they'll lose some battles too. I think they'll get some good wins.
All right.
Against some good teams.
I have the Seahawks going 10-6.
10-6.
With a possible finish at 12-4. I have it written down. They have tons of talent. If it all comes together, we should see another playoff run for the Hawks. I'm saying they can be up there. They have a chance. How about the Cardinals? Where do you see the Cardinals?
Okay, definitely better than last season. They won't go 5-10, 5-10 and 1 again. I say 7-9, 8-8. I give it a little better. Maybe 9-7 if they really push it. But that's a tough division too.
It's a tough division.
You got to play Seattle twice. You got to play the Rams twice. I know they're on the downfall, like we talked about.
49ers have to play those guys.
You got to play them twice too.
I have the Cardinals going 7-9 as well.
7-9.
All right, Matt. So let's move on once again. Let's go straight to the Rams. What are you going?
No, this is a tough decision. Okay, I'm gonna go 8-8. I say they pull out a couple more wins than they should, but what's your pick?
Ooh, you're making my pick look bad. You're taking an 8-8. I think this team sucks. I'm going 4-12. They have a bad offensive line, no running game, no pass rush besides Aaron Donald. They have one linebacker. The defensive backs are going to be exhausted by making all the plays because they got no other playmakers on the defense beside their secondary. That's the only place they have anything good on defense. On offense, they got inconsistencies of Jared Goff. Like I said, no running game. Offensive line is questionable. They have one quality wide receiver in Cooper Kupp. I mean, other than that, they got nothing going for them. They're going to tank this season. Probably pick up somebody good in the draft this year. We got a lot of running backs if they want to bring back a running game to LA. But boy, is LA going to be struggling for fans this season. Yeah. All 12 of the Chargers fans and maybe what? All 1,200 of the Rams fans?
Well, they don't have the Raiders anymore. So.
Right. LA is going to be... I mean, at least California's got 49ers, which is who we're going to be talking about next. Give me your pick for the Niners.
I gotta go 12. I gotta go 11-5.
That's a solid pick.
Yeah, so, I think they split with Seattle. I think they win the first game against Seattle, but I think Seattle edges them out later in the season. But definitely they're both playoff teams. I think they'll both be in a playoff. Whoever wins the division, the second place will obviously be in the wild.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I got the Rams going 12-4, and they're fighting for first place with Seattle. I think they're either going to split it or the 49ers are going to take both games here. Either way. But whoever wins this division is my strongest contender in the NFC for the Super Bowl. I don't see many other teams coming out of the NFC right now.
Saints.
Maybe the Saints. That's the only other team really I can see pulling anything. Other than that, probably going to be this team. Second place, like you said, of this division gets the wild card. It'll be interesting to see how this whole that ends up panning out, this NFC Championship. But it's going to be the NFC West champion, probably versus the Saints. That's my pick. All right.
Strong pick.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for watching. You may have noticed a bit of a lighting change. We had some technical difficulties in recording yesterday, so had to fix it here. Hope you all enjoy. Make sure to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify, and now on iTunes as well. We're up there. Casual Sports Report, as always. That's us. As always, I'm Alek.
And I'm Matt.
See you next time.